Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Good to be back.
Today, we're zooming in on Ohmyhome, ticker OMH.
Right.
We've got a bunch of recent updates, due diligence reports you shared, ending around mid-April 2025.
Correct. The idea is to sift through it all.
And figure out what's actually significant, right? Give our listeners the key takeaways without, getting lost in the weeds.
That's the plan. We've got info on corporate actions, financials, the market they're in, even a bit on, sentiment.
So we'll synthesize it, make sense of Ohmyhome right now.
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, probably the biggest news item. That 1-for-10 reverse stock split.
Happened March 10th, 2025. Shareholders had already approved it back in January.
So 10 old shares become 1 new share. Simple as that.
Pretty much. The total outstanding shares dropped significantly from about 24 million.
Down to around 2.4 million.
Yeah. Ticker's still OMH, but they got a new CUSIP number.
G6S38M115. And the par value changed too, right? From 1.001 to 0.001 cents.
Correct. Minor detail, but part of the mechanical change.
So why do this? What was the main driver here?
It really boils down to Nasdaq rules.
Staying listed.
You got it. They needed to keep that share price above the minimum $1 bid requirement. A reverse split is a common way to, artificially boost the price per share.
So if I held shares, my share count goes down, but the price per share, in theory, goes up tenfold.
In theory, yes. The total value of your holdings shouldn't change just because of the split itself.
It's more about meeting those exchange requirements, keeping up appearances, maybe.
It is. It's a mechanism. But it's also fair to say sometimes the market sees reverse splits as a sign a company's stock price has been struggling.
That's a good point. It's not always viewed positively.
No. But interestingly, around the same time, like late February, early March.
Just before the split.
Yeah, there were reports suggesting Ohmyhome was actually seeing strong operational growth.
Okay, so maybe not just a struggling stock story.
Well, the growth seems linked to a strong Singapore property market and also their own expansion. Things like brokerage, renovation services.
Right, let's touch on that Singapore market context. The sources mention it's pretty robust.
Predictions for HDB resale prices, that's the Housing Development Board, are for 4% to 6% growth in 2025.
And sales volumes are up too.
Apparently quite strong. One report mentioned a 20% year-over-year jump in HDB units sold recently.
Wow.
And supply is tight. Lowest level of resale units available in over a decade?
So a seller's market, sounds like.
Pretty much. Which, could be quite good for a company like Ohmyhome.
Because they offer those end-to-end property tech solutions.
Exactly. A tight, active market could funnel more business through their platform.
Okay, makes sense. So good market backdrop, reported operational growth.
Yeah.
How does this translate into the financials? Let's look at the numbers.
Okay, so for the first half of 2024, that's the latest period we have details for here, revenue growth was substantial.
How substantial?
106% year over year, reached at $4.05, which is about US $3.03.
Double the revenue from the previous year's first half? And the last full year reported?
Total revenue was around $5.08, so maybe US $4.02 or so.
Where's that growth coming from specifically?
Seems pretty broad-based, actually. Brokerage services revenue was up about 13.9% year over year.
Okay.
Property management, that seems like a newer thing, brought in $2 million.
A significant chunk.
And renovation services really took off. Revenue from third parties there grew over 200%.
So they're diversifying their income streams quite a bit.
Looks like it.
Oh.
Which can be a strength, not relying on just one thing.
There's usually a but, isn't there? Growth is great, but what about profit?
Yes. The bottom line, they're still posting net losses.
Okay. How bad are we talking?
Well, for that first half of 2024, the net loss did get smaller. It narrowed to $2.03, so about US $1.07.
Which works out to roughly -7 cents US per share?
Something like that, yeah. So improvement, moving towards profitability perhaps, but still definitely in the red.
And because of those losses, things like a PE ratio.
Yeah, you can't calculate a meaningful positive PE ratio right now. Makes comparisons a bit harder.
What about their balance sheet? Cash, debt.
The sources aren't super detailed on debt to equity or cash flow figures, but they did mention cash and equivalents around mid-2024 were $2.04, maybe US $1.08.
So some liquidity there.
Some cushion, yeah.
Yeah.
And return on equity is negative, naturally, because of the net losses.
Got it. Maybe we should step back for a second. For listeners not familiar, what exactly does Ohmyhome do? You mentioned property tech.
Right. Think of them as a tech platform mainly focused on Singapore and Malaysia's property markets.
Okay.
They offer a whole suite of services, brokerage, obviously, property listings and research tools,
Standard stuff.
but also mortgage advice, legal services coordination, home renovation services, which seem to be growing fast, and even insurance referrals.
So really trying to cover the whole home buying, selling, owning journey, a one-stop shop kind of model.
That seems to be the goal, yeah. Keep the customer within their ecosystem.
How does that position them against competitors? It's a crowded space, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. You got big players like Property Guru, iProperty.
You know names.
Right. So Ohmyhome's diversified services could be an edge. But, as we said, the financial performance, the losses, that probably contributes to a more cautious market sentiment.
And you mentioned stock volatility earlier.
Yeah. The price has been all over the place in the past year. The sources noted a range between like $0.46 and $6.
That's a huge swing. Definitely something potential investors need to stomach.
For sure. Volatility is key here.
So if we were summarizing the red flags and strengths based on these reports.
Red flags, clearly the negative net income is number one, and that stock price volatility we just discussed.
Makes sense. Strengths.
The diversified service offering, that one-stop shop potential. And the reports also mention a relatively low debt-to-equity ratio, around 12%.
Lower debt is generally good, more flexibility.
Typically, yes. Less financial burden.
Okay, looking forward then. What could push Ohmyhome up? What are the big risks?
Potential catalysts.
Right.
Well, obviously, a string of positive earnings reports showing that path to profitability is real.
Turning those losses into profits.
That would be huge. Also, maybe successful launches of new services, further expansion.
And on the flip side, the risks.
Regulatory changes are always a risk in real estate, especially in a market like Singapore. New rules could impact their model.
True.
And just broader economic stuff, you know?
Yeah.
If the economy slows, property demand might cool off, hitting your business.
Right. Affordability, interest rates, all that macro stuff impacts housing.
Absolutely. It's very tied to the economic cycle.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all together for the listener.
All right.
The reverse stock split looks like a tactical move, mainly for that Nasdaq listing. Keep the stock visible, compliant.
Underneath that, though, you've got a company operating in what seems like a pretty favorable Singapore property market right now.
And they've shown really strong revenue growth, diversifying across different services like brokerage, management, renovations.
And it's significant, but they are still losing money. Profitability isn't there yet.
And the stock itself has been quite volatile. So the big question seems to be,
can they capitalize on that market strength and revenue growth? Can they actually convert that into sustainable profit?
that seems like the core issue to watch.
Definitely. Keep a close eye on future earnings reports. See if those losses continue to narrow, or better yet, flip positive.
And watch any new strategic moves they make. Plus, always keep tabs on that Singapore property market itself.
Any major shifts there, regulatory or economic, will likely impact Ohmyhome significantly.
We hope this run-through gave you a clearer picture of Ohmyhome based on the info provided. As always, remember, this isn't investment advice.
Please do your own thorough research. Maybe chat with a financial advisor.
And if you found this useful, we'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast.
Leave us a like or a comment. We do read them and appreciate the feedback.
And suggestions for future topics are always welcome. Thanks for tuning in.